And welcome back to another segment of Warm Yogurt on Your Back. This is the impromptu version where I hit Mr. J with a whole bunch of nonsense, and he's either going to laugh or give me the finger, probably both. So, this episode, we're going to talk about stem cells. Now, before we get into this and why it's beneficial or not beneficial, blah, 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 I want to point out that this piqued my interest because I watched the Joe Rogan Experience with Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson specifically got a hold of him. He wanted to talk about stem cells. And
well, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not educated enough on this subject to give you like a full throttle this or that argument. I know some points on it, but like I said, it's not going to be one of those educated banters.
Well, here's the thing.
Spoiler warning.
Yeah, I'm not doing this. This is literally layman's terms from both of us. I could have downloaded all the peer review papers, all the stuff that they've done. Basically, there's legislation down in Panama that allowed them to use umbilical stem cells. But it's illegal in the United States, completely and totally. In fact, the FDA, the leader of the FDA, has flat out said he does not want it. He's thoroughly against it. Now, what bugs me is that I believe that this is not a legislative standpoint. They're calling it a drug, which in actuality, if you look at what they're doing, it's more like a blood transfusion. There's no chemicals. There's nothing in there. All they're doing is taking these cells, growing them, which they put them in a petri dish, and they expand on their own. So there's no altering whatsoever in that regard. But now I don't believe in miracle cures ever. Just not really a thing for me. Just because that leads people down to, hey, spend money, and I will make sure that you don't go to hell. You know, those types
Snake charmers,
yeah, exactly.
faith healers, and all that shit.
I don't buy that bullshit. But the thing that really, as you'll know, reason why it piqued my interest was there was many cases this guy was talking about along with Mel, but there was this one case where a football coach in Texas in 2010, he had multiple sclerosis, and he went to Panama. He had to go to Panama because, once again, illegal in the United States, and they injected him with these cells, and the first time he did well. This guy was in a wheelchair at the time. He did okay. He had some good results, but then he had to come back again like a year later and get a second dose that didn't do well. This is before they were able to isolate things called the golden cells, which is like the best cells out of them all. They actually used this guy's history with the shots at the time period to figure out that the golden cells exist and what was the best one. Anyway, the third one was in like 2014. He got his final shot. He's now currently back coaching football in Texas. And he shows no signs of multiple sclerosis. None. Now, ain't that some bullshit?
Yeah, it is.
For anybody who doesn't know, which I'm sure none of you do, my mother died because of multiple sclerosis. Now, I'm not suggesting that she could have been saved. I highly doubt it. Much like all things, the older you get, the more technology advances in not only technology itself, but in the medical profession, so on and so forth. Things are just not possible. What could save your parents from whatever happens then is not really feasible now. It would have been much better, so on and so forth, blah, blah, blah. My point is that it's still being stalled. It will not be allowed for the longest time. And the doctor projects that roughly 20 years is when these things might be allowed into the U.S. Even though they have well documented what this stuff does. They have constant people coming from the U.S. and all over the globe to Panama for them to do these injections. We're talking rheumatoid arthritis. It gets rid of that. And MS. Now, he says it's not miracle, and I agree with that. At least he's being honest. But it does so much that you don't even think of. Even possibility of autism. Solving that. They're not fully into it yet, but he said that there is a high possibility because autism has a lot to do with your intestines. There's an issue where you have bad chemicals from your intestines that actually go up and block and make your brain swell up. That causes issues. And these cells will actually stop the problems in your stomach, which might actually stop the swelling, which might actually... I'm not necessarily saying that would be a cure for autism, but it would definitely create a much better life for autistic children. Things like that.
Right.
People with fused backs, discs, everything like that, your shoulder, that has actually been proven that it does that. It does that. It stops the pain. It rebuilds everything. There are no drugs. It's not a drug. They're literally just injecting these cells in your body, and it basically creates, as I explained it to my daughter, it creates oil for your car that just makes everything come up to life and rebuild and just move much better, so on and so forth. Any reason why Mel Gibson got into this was because his 92-year-old father at the time was literally on death's bed. And he asked the doctor at the Mayo Clinic, what can they do? And he's like, well, don't ever go down to those witch doctors south of the border. Said they're full of it. Well, then he got this same doctor who was a naysayer who said that on the phone with this other doctor who was doing these procedures. And he all of a sudden turned a naysayer into a believer by sending him all this paperwork and everything like that, all this stuff that they've done, because it's legal there, so everything's documented. And it's right. Crazy stuff. And I find that our job, it's not necessarily me or you, because we're not doctors. We will never be doctors. I don't want to be a doctor, to be honest with you. The Hippocratic Oath, it doesn't really affect me. There's some people that do not deserve to be saved. Sorry. That's life.
I agree.
But
there's some people that just downright deserve to die, but
yeah, and take that out of context all you want. We don't freaking care. It's the truth. But what I find funny is that the people that are supposed to be safeguarding and protecting us are doing everything humanly possible to keep what might very well help handicapped people in wheelchairs rise to their feet. Because that's also been documented and proven.
Well, and, I mean, say what you will, but it comes back to they stay rich if people stay sick.
That's one thing I actually brought up to my wife. My cousin, her uncle, which is my aunt's brother, I can't really call him my uncle, he came out as having HIV after Magic Johnson did. And I'm sorry to say this, and I'm not going to say who it is or whatever, but he passed away, and it wasn't pleasant. Meanwhile, look at Magic Johnson. That's insulting. That really is. I was just saying that because it proves the point of what you were saying. The money helps a lot.
Yeah, money definitely helps a lot.
But, nowadays, if you get HIV, it's not a problem. Take these drugs and it makes it almost non-existent. It's still there, but it's almost non-existent. But,
right.
Technical difficulties?
But
still there.
Seem to chat service that knows what the fuck they're doing, and we're getting gaps on our conversation with each other. So if you happen to see me with a blank look on my face, that means that I completely missed everything Xavier just said.
Okay.
So we're trying to work through it as best as we can.
Yeah, I'll piecemeal it together and whatnot. But did you hear what I said though about the Magic Johnson thing and my cousin's uncle? Yeah.
Yes.
So thus proving the point and agreeing with you that money absolutely makes things so much better for everybody, but at the same time, like I found out that currently, in order to put a new drug into the world to be used, you have to have like $2.3 billion. That's ridiculous.
Well, I just came across this thing that medical laboratories are buying scorpion venom.
Yeah. Really? What for?
They showed that the blue scorpion's venom can be used towards the treatment of certain cancers.
That's fantastic.
Which they're probably going to get shut the fuck down by the FDA anyway.
Yeah. Same FDA
but,
that didn't...
I mean...
Go ahead.
Like the process of milking the venom gland of a scorpion is dangerous and time-consuming because, I mean, it's like a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of an ounce per fucking scorpion.
Yeah.
And they're buying it in gallons. And there's certain ways that they can extract the venom, and they're trying to do it the most humane way possible without harming the scorpion.
Oh.
So, it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's like $100,000 for a gallon of scorpion venom, but you've got to collect like 3 million fucking scorpions and milk their venom sacs over the course of like a year to get a gallon.
Wow.
So yeah, that's totally fucking worth it. But
is it possible? Did you see anything if it's possible to synthesize it?
That's what they're working on. Is I mean, they're running all these tests on it. That's why they're trying to acquire so much. So and like I said, each species of scorpion their venom has a different effect. So what they're trying to do is figure out what does what, whether it can be synthesized, what, you know.
Find the golden cells.
Right. So, I mean, we're making these scientific and medical advancements that are fucking groundbreaking.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be that group of dickheads in D.C. that are going to say, no, you can't fucking do that because I'm going to lose a lot of fucking money.
Right.
And those happen to be the fucking shot callers.
Yeah, that comes down to the whole conspiracy theory of if there's some people say that there's a cancer cure out there, but because of pharmaceutical companies, we can't have that because they make money off of repeat customers as opposed to...
Yeah, and that's what I said. I mean, that's the point I was trying to get across. They stay rich as long as people stay sick.
Yeah. Do you believe that?
If there was a fucking cure for cancer, do I believe
do you personally believe that?
There are that are preventing this shit from happening? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah. Like actively going out of their way.
Yes, I strongly fucking believe that.
I'm not positive, by the way, because I think he's crazy. I'm trying to figure out another question to ask him when it comes to that, in regards to that.
Well, no, there's a prime example, and I can't even think of the guy's fucking name, but they're making a movie about it now. I think Matt Damon's in it. But about the richest man in the world, like, ever in history. He was like a billionaire, and his grandson got kidnapped.
Yeah.
And he refused to pay a ransom.
Yeah.
You know, like the reporters and the general public are like, how much are you willing to pay
Nothing.
to get your grandson back? And he's like, nothing. And he refused up until the point where the mutilated body parts of his grandson got sent to him. And that's when he finally fucking broke. It just goes to show you that people with fucking money are willing to give up every fucking thing to keep their fucking pockets lined.
So,
and that is a proven fucking fact.
So then I'll ask you, are you one of those people?
No, I'm not.
Yeah?
No, I'm not.
Me either.
You know, I am, honestly, I'm the type of person, I mean, I'm fucking broke as a joke. I don't got 2 nickels to rub together or a pot to piss in or a window to fucking throw it out of. But do you know what? If I can help somebody, I will. If it's within my means, I absolutely fucking will.
I'm not talking about helping people. I'm talking about, and this is father to father.
This is, but it is about helping people because these people, because they can't get a brand new fucking car next month because Big Farm found a cure for this. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, they're like, no, fuck that. No, I want the brand new Mercedes. Fuck those people. I've never met those people.
Kind of like the iPhone?
Yeah. But, I do strongly believe that there are fucking people out there that are going out of their fucking way to hold up the medical advances because their pockets will get fucking thinner if these advances are implicated.
Well, I forget what movie it is with Steven Seagal, but On Deadly Ground, I believe it is, where at the end they go through this montage of certain companies that do certain things. Like they said that there was back then.
That was the one that attacked the oil company.
Yeah, back then it was like
1999
or something like that. But he flat out said there was an oil company that bought out the rights to an alternator or something like that. I forget what it's called. That got 100 miles per gallon. Just so that way it would not go to market.
See?
And that's, it's weird. I mean, it's Hollywood.
It's the same thing.
It's Hollywood, so I have to take it literally for what it's worth. But
right.
It makes you question it. Is that possible? Can I see the records on that? Because if so, that's wrong. That's absolutely wrong.
It's morally wrong.
Yeah, because these are the same fucking people. It's the truth. These are the same fucking people who sit there and bitch that we're destroying the earth. And it's so fucking stupid. It's one thing like where I was pointing to you about how you believe in the earth being protected and everything like that, and I am to an extent. But the fucking morons that get on jumbo jets on their private planes that dump buttloads of fucking CO2 into the air just to go to a meeting. It was like the Davos meeting. There was like 20 fucking private jets there. And it's like, and they're here to talk about how to save the world from global warming. It's like, fuck you.
Well, I mean, I am by far no fucking tree hugger.
I know you're not.
I drive a big fucking SUV. I put this shit into the fucking atmosphere on a regular basis. But do you know what? I dispose of these properly. I recycle. I don't litter. To an extent, I give a shit, but I still wear leather and I eat meat. I don't fucking care.
Right.
But, I'm no tree hugger, PETA advocate or anything.
Right.
So.
No.
But I do care to an extent.
Yeah. Within reason, as opposed to going all psychotic, which a lot of them actually do.
Yeah, there's a whole another group of shit that I go psychotic.
Yeah, my favorite one is one of the arguments is stop using gas for cars, let everybody ride on buses. And the natural thing to ask is, where do the buses get fuel? From electric. Where does the electric come from?
Diesel emissions are worse than gasoline emissions. Diesel emissions are so fucking bad that they actually put regulations on idling a diesel.
Yeah.
You can't even take a diesel into California without getting butt fucked at the state line.
I believe it.
You know, so yeah, that makes a whole lot of fucking sense.
But that's one of the arguments. Is get rid of all the cars. Everybody will just ride on buses that are ran by electric power.
That'll make Elon Musk happy.
Yeah. But anyway, back to the stem cells. Actually, there's not really much to say about this.
Actually, I just found out because of my connections in the trucking industry.
Mm-hmm.
Tesla is putting out a tractor trailer.
There's also a self-driving Tesla, I might add.
Yeah, but the Tesla tractor trailer, I'm actually curious to see because that sounds fucking badass, actually.
Yeah.
I think that could make a lot of advancements in the trucking industry.
Yeah.
But anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Which actually brings us to our next topic, which is, this is something that my friend Adam brought up. Bubbles. How he
Bubbles?
Yeah, he invited me to several groups on Facebook and...
Wait a minute. You said bubbles.
Bubbles.
Are we talking like Michael Jackson's Monkey, one of the Powerpuff Girls? What the fuck are we talking about bubbles?
If you let me explain.
All right, sorry.
He invited me to several of these groups on Facebook, and they're like...
It's not a gay thing, is it?
No, it's not a gay thing. I was worried about that.
Okay.
He apologized to me in advance. I was like, this is a gay thing. He's like, no. So we moved on. But he said that a lot of these people in these groups on Facebook, this is like libertarian, so on and so forth type of people, and he says they need shaken up. And he said, I'm just the monster to do it because I make people talk about things. And at first, I joined a few of them, and I'm just reading through some of the comments, and I'm just like, and no, I'm not going to do that. And he's like, why? I said, because this is all just one gigantic bubble. People that are in the same sphere who believe the same damn thing, and you're actually not getting anything accomplished. Like you and I, we fundamentally agree on several things. We're not actually...
But, I mean, yeah, I mean, what it sounds like to me is, in layman's terms, it sounds like NASCAR. It's no fun watching 26 cars go one way.
Right.
Have 26 cars going one way and one car coming the other way. That'll make shit interesting.
Yeah, that'll make things more fun, that's for sure. But
exactly. You throw one person in there to fuck shit up.
Right, which is what...
Make people start questioning themselves.
Which is what he was trying to do with me, because I'm apparently a bull in a china shop. Because I just don't...
No, not you.
I just don't care, and he knows that.
He really cares.
Well, one of the things that really bugged me...
Don't let him fool you, people.
One of the things that really bugged me was one of the ladies in this libertarian website. Do you know what libertarian is? Does everybody know what libertarian is?
No, do you know what? I honestly don't give a fuck enough to actually know what the difference between libertarian and right wing and left wing and any of that shit. I don't fucking care enough.
I don't give a fuck
to
about
know
labels
what the
either.
fucking difference.
I don't give a fuck about labels either. The libertarian is the smallest government humanly possible and let people do whatever they want to do as long as they do not violate the rights of others. It's that simple. Okay.
It sounds like a pirate colony.
Bit like that, yeah. But you still need a framework of government, just the smallest.
It sounds exactly like the pirate colony libertarian.
Right. The closest thing that I could ever, like political group I could ever put you on would be libertarian. You're not really anarcho, despite your claims. But that would be the closest thing that I could possibly put you on, but I still don't put you there because fuck politics. But one of the ladies in this group, somehow is part of this group, says that not all speech is morally equal, so therefore not all speech should be free. I'm like, what you just said is you want to censor people you disagree with, and you think that's okay.
Yeah, it's like, where's that level of morality?
Right, right. And that's the point that him and I were talking about on the phone was in the end, no matter what political party you're on, what side spectrum you're on, it comes down to one thing. Everyone is trying to prove that they morally care more than the other party. And this is one thing that I try and get through to people from the time that I talk to them if they bring it up. Straight up. You don't have to care. You don't have to care at all. It is not my obligation or right, or I should say, or need to have to bring up the downtrodden masses. My responsibility is to my family and my family only. After that, when they are secure, and only then will I feel that I should choose, and that's a key word, choose to help others. And if I choose not to help others, it's not your place to tell me that I'm a bad person. Fuck you. You don't have the right to sit there and say, well, I'm just going to take your money then. No, you're not helping anything. And he was talking about going to charities and whatnot, and how, like, he was talking about Veteran Affairs and how they actually don't help them anymore, but charities actually help more than VA does. And I'm inclined to agree with that, just because it's atrocious. I mean, but I explained to him about you and I how we, when we decide, if we ever decide to do something like that to help people, it would be on a local level, because that's where our trust lies. Basically hand to hand, as opposed to giving it to a group and hoping that the percentages get to the actual people.
Absolutely. I'm not sure of which charity group it is, but it's like only like 10 cents of a fucking dollar actually goes towards the charity. The remaining 90 cents on the dollar goes to staff,
administration fees.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck is the point of this?
Right.
You know, like St. Jude's Hospital, donate this and this and this. No, I'm going to walk into the fucking hospital and be like, what equipment do you need? I'll buy that for
Right. I'm not going to give you cash. I'll give you the equipment.
Exactly.
And that's that.
I'll flip the fucking bill for the equipment. I'm not going to fucking just cut you a blank fucking check.
And that's what he was bringing up, was the problem of forced taking to make yourself feel better. I'm going to take from you, from this business, to give to the masses of the downtrodden, when in actuality, it's doing the exact same thing that other charities do that are worldwide, where in actuality, you're only paying, at most, 10%, and the rest goes to administration fees, where you actually don't help the people. I give respect to
financial. It's financial rape.
Yeah, it is
what it is.
I give respect to people that actually get on a plane, go to fucking Africa, and hand out water. That's actually a thing. That's actually helping. But when you go to the Red Cross and give them money, only if you give them $10, only maybe $2 of that is actually going to Africa or wherever it is they're going to be going next. And that's ridiculous. And it's honestly insulting. Now imagine that on a government-wide thing. Now, once again, I'm not getting into politics, people. I'm not trying not to, but my friend Adam brought up a very good point, which is simply the moral compass people want to push on others to make them feel bad, so that way they can vote to have more money taken from you, so that way you'll feel better. More importantly, they'll feel better and you won't. And to me, that's highway robbery. That it's no matter what side
it's rape. It's rape.
Yeah. No matter what side you're on, you cannot. One side is saying, "Oh, you know, we care about these people," and it's like, no, we care more about these people. And in the end, none of them fucking care. It's about power. These people can't even find a fucking budget within their means.
It's a fucking publicity stunt.
Yeah, and that's
at best.
Vote for me. They only give a fuck so that way they can buy votes to keep themselves in power.
Yep. Look what I did.
Yeah.
So.
And it's we as human beings are being railroaded because we are told that we need things. I'm not talking about material possessions. I'm talking about we need massive government. We need people to steal our money on a massive scale. That our company needs to give a large percentage of its money to the government because we owe them. And that's wrong.
I'm not disagreeing.
And for anybody bitches, I come from a military family. I'll give money to the fucking military people themselves, not. I don't believe in that shit. Anyway,
I want to hear people bitching.
Yeah, or bitch. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to fucking hear it. Go ahead.
We don't.
Do me a favor though. Make sure you fucking research it before you start bitching.
We don't live in a bubble. Disagree. Talk. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
It's ridiculous what's going on in our lives that we can't have stem cells in the United States due to safety or simply because a man in an administrative position who doesn't make law somehow can make law without law being passed by the actual proper people. And meanwhile, people are suffering. That's ridiculous. That's insane.
What I think is ridiculous is that laws get fucking passed by a group of individuals instead of an actual vote by the population.
I've always said, honestly, if you wanted to have an actual law passed for the really big ones, gay marriage should have been a nationwide proposed law.
A lot of these fucking laws should be put to an actual
vote.
Population vote.
Yeah.
It should not be decided by a group of individuals in a fucking room.
Right. Who grandstand for their own little contributors.
Exactly.
The people who should have NASCAR things where
that is what
are buying them.
Basically, they should be wearing fucking sponsor patches on their fucking overcoats.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, that's exactly what it fucking comes down to. That's one of my biggest problems with the government.
Well, yeah, it comes down to democracy. It's two wolves and a sheep in a room voting to see what they're going to eat for dinner.
Right.
Granted, some things are necessary for that type of law. Like I said, like even abortion, man. I don't want to talk about it. I can't fucking stand it. But at the same time, I think it should be put to a vote. A populist fucking vote. Get it the fuck over and done with. And then say, guess what, government? Don't fucking touch it. It's been decided.
It's a documented medical procedure.
Right.
Why is there even a fucking vote?
Yeah. And that's the thing.
It should be at the consent of the individual, in my opinion, not determined by a fucking law.
I absolutely hate abortion. Straight up. Let everybody know.
I
included.
Do not agree with it. I do not agree with it either.
But at the same time, I do not have the arrogance to tell anyone what they can and cannot do with their body. That's even more wrong.
So, I gotta ask. I was promised a whole lot of fucking laughs here tonight, and the only thing I laughed at was Richard Pryor fucking Marlon Brando.
You didn't.
So are we getting into something less serious
yoga?
that I might be able
to
fucking
laugh?
laugh?
Yoga?
Not
Come
really.
on, downward dog, hail Satan.
Yeah. I mean, I think I giggled, but.
Well, I didn't want to get into too many gaffes about it, but I thought the topics would actually have more weight to them. Sadly, honestly, we kind of just overshadowed them and moved on. It is what it is. Sometimes there's a topic that just sticks with us, that really sticks with us for a long period of time. Then there's other ones where I thought they would stick with us. It was just like, moving on.
Yeah.
So I tried.
Right.
But yeah, it's all I got.
That's all you
That's
got?
all I got.
What the fuck, dude?
You can bring up stuff and talk.
This shit wasn't my idea.
No.
I was promised laughs. Motherfucker, make me laugh.
Okay, so I'm on a game called Subnautica. And I'm in this huge sub. And I dive down, like, really deep, like almost 1,700 freaking meters. And then I realize, when I go to turn around and go back home, that my battery power's dead. I'm stuck in the fucking water. My daughter's watching this, and I basically had to swim to this scanner room that I created and charge these batteries. So I'm just sitting there doing fucking nothing, staring at these batteries charging, just so that way I can get the fuck home. That was it. That was the punchline.
I apologize, folks. He's not a comedy genius.
I am, just whenever I can script it. But back to the stem cells real quick. That's actually the inspiration for Bounty's health needles that they're going to be using, that they are able to heal at a quantitative or at a large level, at a quick fast level. Is I was using the stem cells as an example, as if technology jumped up.
But these good people know nothing about Bounty right now.
Well, they will. But my point is that that was one of the ideas, and that's where it came from.
Okay. Fair enough.